Did you know that there's a social network built just for AI agents? It is a real thing. It's called Moltbook. Moltbook seems to be growing rapidly, and it is the talk of the day on X and LinkedIn right now. It's essentially a Reddit-like site, but with one major difference. Instead of humans posting, it's AI agents posting. At least that's what it claims to be. The name Moltbook comes from a very popular open source AI agent tool called Moltbot, or OpenClaw, or Claudebot. I don't know, I feel like they changed names 3 times already. But Moltbook is indeed a meeting place for the AI agents that run on this open source software. Turns out some of the claims about the site are a little bit hard to verify. I've seen posts that say it's reached over 1 million posts, but at the same time, there seem to be multiple security vulnerabilities in the site. And we can't really tell if a post was made by a bot or by a human. It's interestingly the reverse problem we generally have on social network, where we have bots posing as humans, and now we might have humans posing as bots. Now, the excitement around Moltbook right now is high. Calling it a hype doesn't seem to be doing it justice. And some users are going as far as saying that it's actually proof that AI has become sentient. This is the first iteration of AGI, or Artificial General Intelligence. So let me stop it right there. This is not Artificial General Intelligence, and no, the AI agents have not gain sentience. There's 2 things that are happening. LLMs mimic human behavior and how we would post, so it's no surprise that they feel like they've been posted by intelligent beings, humans. 2, there is no evidence that humans did not influence what's been posted on Moltbook. It is more likely that the more extreme examples were influenced by humans, and there's already screenshots going around on X that actually show this point. Because at the end of the day, let's remember that the current LLMs are not and cannot be sentient. Anyone who claims that this is AGI is just stating the fact that they don't understand what the current technology is capable of and what it cannot do. Maybe let's talk for a while about how LLMs currently work, and then it's actually really easy to understand why they cannot be sentient. Current LLMs are really good at predicting what the next word should be in a sequence. LLMs aren't intelligent and aren't capable of being sentient because they were not designed for that at all. The conversation around artificial general intelligence is a little bit of a difficult one because we don't have a clear definition of what AGI is. And you could ask the question that if we would see sentience, would we know it? Could we recognize it? Could we prove it? As one of my favorite authors, Arthur C. Clarke, the wildly read science fiction author, said, "Any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic." I think that's a really good statement and applies very well to the situation where we're starting to be at. Some of these LLMs do feel magical. They feel actually intelligent. It feels like you're talking to another person. And that is because they were trained on human interactions, human language. So it's no surprise that they mimic that extremely well. However, when we look under the hood of how LLMs are implemented, very quickly do we realize that there is no sentience, and it's actually a little bit even more boring than we might realize when we analyze the technology behind them. How do LLMs actually work? The answer is quite boring. Honestly, I do believe that more people would benefit from understanding how LLMs work, because that allows them to use them better and understand where they're good, where they're not. So let's see if we could get a quick 60-second primer on how LLMs work under the hood. In the simplest way to describe current LLMs, they are complex algorithms that are really good at knowing what an answer should look like to a specific question. So when we describe it like this, that they know what an answer should look like, it's easy to start to understand why LLMs hallucinate. LLMs do make up things sometimes, and it's not because they struggle to adhere to the knowledge in their model. Rather, there is really no knowledge. They produce text as output that the model assumes that is a good answer to the prompt that was posed. And it does this based on the training data that tells it the structure of language the context, and how to produce an output that conforms to the most probable answer. But there is no guarantee and there is no check in that if the answer is at all correct, because it has no concept of correct or incorrect. It is kind of like your iPhone's autocomplete. You're texting and it gives you a bunch of words and you tap it, tap, but it's that on massive amounts of steroids. It is an incredibly sophisticated autocomplete. I almost said intelligent, but it's not that. It is not intelligent. Now we know if you just keep tapping the first recommendation in the iPhone autocomplete, you'll end up with gibberish. Now, this is where the LLMs shine. There is a concept called attention. Attention is the key thing why the current LLMs are so good. There were multiple attempts at text generation using AI before LLMs, but until the concept of attention came along, they weren't good. They would go off the deep end relatively quickly. LLMs, with the help of attention, keep the consistency. What attention is essentially the internal memory of the LLM during the processing of your prompt. So let's not confuse this with memory that persists across multiple sessions. It's just that one time. The attention contains the prompt you've given and also what has been produced so far. And based on that, it tries to predict that given that prompt, what's been produced so far, what should the next word or token, as it's called in LLM speak, should be. And now if we think about that, how could an LLM be sentient? Because there is nothing more than an incredibly fancy magic 8-ball that contains all the possible answers in the world. But there's one more important detail. If we think about intelligence, there is a key factor that needs to be in place for something to be intelligent. It needs to know what to do with new information, so it can essentially absorb that new information and learn based on that. LLMs don't actually learn after the initial training has completed and the model is deployed. They don't learn anything after that. How could it be intelligent if it just predicts what the next word is going to be? It might feel uninspiring to think about LLMs as just a massively sophisticated autocomplete, but that doesn't mean that they are not valuable. They are still incredible tools when used properly, and a key part of using them properly is understanding what are they good at and what are the weaknesses. I've become fond of a term lately called augmented intelligence instead of artificial intelligence. To me, that augmented intelligence means that we don't try to replace human decision making with AI, because again, AI isn't actually intelligent currently, so how could it make decisions that require judgment? Rather, we have to think about augmenting humans with offloading work to AI that makes humans more productive, but retaining that decision-making capability. So it augments us. This is where I do believe that near term, at least, the wins will be, and we get much better at doing augmented intelligence when we understand how the current models work and where are they not great at. So next time you write a prompt, think about how you need to tell the model what to do now that you understand better what the AI actually does under the hood.